Today we have a short but sweet lesson where we talk about the various players on our team that will help transform how data is used and stored in Cinderella's kingdom. We will meet each team member and talk about what their role is in helping Cinderella use her data in awesome ways. Let's do a quick recap of what we have learned so far. So we know that a relational database is a container for data. Within the overall container for data are smaller containers for specific pieces of data called tables. We know that there are a variety of relational database programs with minor variations and that SQL is the language used to communicate to the database. SQL commands can be used for getting data into the tables and getting data out of the tables. Now, if you recall, Cinderella had a ton of data she wanted to store. Remember those golden crates piled high with note cards? She also wanted a place to store new data as it was created, and she had some pretty ambitious ideas for the ways she could use that data. For all that Cinderella wanted to do, it was definitely going to be more than a one-lady job. So Cinderella and I began planning for additional people to join our team. We already have brought on several fabulous people to handle all of the different parts of creating the database, getting data into the database, maintaining the data within the database, and using the data in neat ways. We are in the midst of bringing in a few more fabulous people. That's right, I'm talking about you. So now, let's meet the team. Today we'll be doing brief introductions, but we'll give a more thorough introduction in later lessons. The first person we are going to introduce is Kathy Creator. Kathy Creator is the one who designed all of the tables for Cinderella. You saw a little of what she did when we showed the Cinderella 1 schema. She is the one who determined all of the table names and column names in the database. She did this by looking at all of the data Cinderella had already collected and also having long conversations with Cinderella talking about what Cinderella wanted to do with her data. She then drew a plan for the tables and columns and then wrote SQL create commands in Fairy SQL. The next person I'd like to introduce you to is Inga Inserter. Inga is the lovely lady who took all of the data Cinderella already had created and put it into the database. Inga went through all of the crates filled with the data and organized the data to match Kathy's tables and then used SQL insert commands to get the data into Fairy SQL. Next, I would like to introduce you to Manny Maintenance. Over the course of the project, we ran into bad data inserted into the database and data that needed to be updated. Manny helped by updating old data and deleting the bad data using SQL update and delete commands. Manny continues to help update data when it becomes out of date, like when subjects get married or move. Next on the list is Penny Programmer. Now Manny, Kathy, and Inga all began their work using the Fairy SQL program entirely. This all changed when Penny Programmer came on board. She built a beautiful web application called Princessware that was built on top of the database. She used code interspersed with SQL to retrieve data from the database and present the data on the screens in all sorts of fun and helpful ways. She also used code interspersed with SQL to communicate new data and updates to current data. You can picture Princessware being like Twitter or Instagram or Gmail. Cinderella can type www.princessware.com into her browser, log on using her username and password, and navigate to the different screens Penny created in Princessware to see data from the database displayed on pretty pink web pages. Last, but certainly not least, is you. Your role is to extract the data in meaningful ways to help Cinderella do helpful things. You might write a SQL command or query, as we call it, to get a guest list with name and addresses for Cinderella's calligrapher so he can create beautiful invitations to a fabulous party. Or maybe you would write a SQL query that will show Cinderella how many guests did not RSVP for her party. Or maybe you would write a query to obtain a comparison of party cost per person and overall guest rating. For the majority of the course, we will talk in depth about SQL query writing and the amazing data you will be able to extract. Now it's going to be time for a short and sweet activity, and then on to lesson 4, where we go in depth with Kathy Creator.